Relax. We'll edit it and put it out. Yeah, no problem.
We'll edit out all the choice words that we have.
Actually, well, again, the choice words, so.
Lady and gentlemen, again, my name is John Paris. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy campaign schedule to be here this afternoon. I also appreciate your patience. We are running about an indeterminate period of time behind what we had planned. But again, thank you very much for waiting with us here today. Furthest on my right, actually, I'll instead of going that route, I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves with our first question. We'll start with Vicki, since we are a chivalrous group here. But Vicki, please introduce yourself, what race you're running for, which party you represent, and briefly tell us why you've decided to run for this race at this particular time, and then we'll give everyone an opportunity to do the same.
And thank you very much. My name is Vicki Dooling. I'm running for Assembly District 41. That district is out in the southwest part of the valley. It takes in part of Henderson and part of Las Vegas. I decided to run for office right now because I felt that my voice wasn't being heard, and I certainly lived in the district. I've never met my representative, and I believe that I've been out there meeting people since November. I believe that that is what you need to do to represent all of the people of the district, no matter what party. I am running on the Republican ticket. I also am supported by the Independent Party, as well as I have Democrats for Dooling.
Okay, we'll go next with Troy.
My name is Troy Warren. I'm running for Assembly District 12. Just so you guys know, I'm a native of Las Vegas, and I'm also a native of the district that I'm running in. The reason why I am running is I am done just running my mouth. I'm running for office. I'm really upset with what's going on in the education system right now. I'm a graduate of this school district. I've had several nieces, nephews. Both my girls graduated from El Dorado, where I graduated from. And just the stuff that I'm seeing is just absolutely driving me nuts. And I believe that I believe, and I know, we get the education system in this state straightened out, a lot of the other things will be straightened out, because we're putting fixes, or we're going after the results instead of the cause. And the cause is we're not educating the kids. So as a native, I'm fed up. And so I threw my hat in the ring, and this is where we're at.
Nelson.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having us today, and for spending countless hours here this evening interviewing all of us. We really appreciate it. My name is Nelson Araujo. I am a Democratic candidate for State Assembly in District 3. And I'm also a proud native of Nevada. I was born and raised here. I'm actually the son of a single parent who is still a housekeeper to this day. She's been working at the Flamingo for 28 years. And I as well was a product of the public education system. I'm proud to say that I graduated from UNLV with both my bachelor's and my master's degree. And I currently work at United Way of Southern Nevada. And there I'm Senior Director of Collective Impact and Diversity. So I oversee funding and initiatives that target our youth, all around Southern Nevada. And it is one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done, to be able to get into the root of what's causing our issues, and to try to fundamentally understand how we can help every child so that everyone's set up for success in our valley. And proud to be here, proud to be running. I'm excited about the opportunity to potentially win and do some great work with all of us as one in the state of Nevada.
Well, thank you for having me here today. My name is Marquez. I'm running for State Assembly District 3, which is the same. And the reason why I decided to run was because I have a radio show. It's a political one. I interview a lot of politicians. And for the last 2 years, I also been very active in the community. And I started noticing the problems of our state. And I was very critical of those problems. And one day I decided to be not just criticizing others, but also being part of the solution. So I talked it over with my wife and my family. They decided to support me and get on board with me. And I decided to run. I'm going to focus on education and the economy. Education, we're last in the country, 50 out of 50, and I believe we can do a lot better. Our children deserve better. We need to have more accountability for what's going on, and not just necessarily throw money at a broken system. Let's fix the system first, and let's see after that what else is needed. I'm of that idea, not just throwing money at a broken system. So that's my platform, and I'm willing to work on both sides. I'm representing the Republican Party now, but when I win, I will represent the whole district on both sides, everybody in my district.
Okay. We've had several people bring up the topic of education. I guess we'll start with Nelson and go back down the other way. What ideas do you have more short-term rather than long-term to raise Nevada's national ranking, which again we all seem to agree is dead last or maybe third from last, depending on which metric you use?
Absolutely. Sorry to jump straight forward, but so we're looking at pre-K to 20 issue, correct? We want to prepare the child and get them all the way through the pipeline so that they're all set up, degrees in hand, and ready to take on the world. And this cannot just be done with a one-fix-all method. I fundamentally believe that we need to engage the families in the education of our youth. I also think that we need to focus on the child, and we need to provide them the proper tools. Some examples include the need for ELL funding and the need to ensure that they are prepared to compete through our district or to be kept up to speed with our district so that when they make it out of high school, we can make sure that they're graduating and into college. Some other ideas include making sure that we are, making sure that we are treating our teachers fairly and that we are preparing them and allowing them to have the proper tools in place so that they can educate their students. But you know, it begins with all of us. This is not a one-fix-all issue. We all need to have all of our hands in this pot, and we all need to be willing to have that conversation, and we need to engage business leaders, we need to engage community leaders, that household, and then that child. And let them know that we're here for them, and we need them to succeed, and we're ready to step up and ensure that they are set up for that success.
Okay. Troy.
Real fast, I'm with the Independent American Party. Forgot to put that in there. For me, the fix of the education system is pretty simple. Obviously, this started back in with this where we're at today started with Carter, with the Department of Education when that was formed. I don't believe the federal government has any issue. They have no business being in our education system. That should be a state parent issue. Get rid of Common Core, get rid of No Child Left Behind, and let's let the teachers do what they do. Teach. And we need to teach. Technology has gotten us so far so fast, I think we need to take a breath and take a step back. We need to teach reading, writing, arithmetic, science, and history. Constitutional history, not some of this revisionist stuff that's going on, just absolute history. Let's get back to the basics and get our kids educated. That is my goal. Also, part of the other thing, like he was, Nelson was saying, getting the business leaders involved. So instead of the federal government, it's the parents, it's the teachers, the administrators, and the business leaders. Because here's what's true, what's going on in the school district here in Clark County right now. They think they're wanting to prepare every kid for college. Well, I hate to tell you this, not every kid's going to college. It's not going to happen. We need to bring back some of the auto shop, the home ec, the wood shop, some of the necessary skills to earn a living out there, because not everybody's going to college. I think we've packed so much stuff on. Oh, look what we're doing. It looks good. It sounds good. But we're 50th. We need to step back. We need to get the federal government out, and we need to let our teachers do what they do. Teach. Simple.
Short-term solutions.
I pretty much agree with everything. You kind of stole my thunder,
Oh,
but
sorry.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I have a couple other things to add. I'm really a believer that somehow the PTA needs to be rebranded under another sort of parent. As parent teachers, it needs a little bit more child-parent group, something. We need to think in terms of rebranding it so that we can get new parents in, because they're thinking the parents of today are thinking, oh, that's that old group and they didn't do anything or whatever they think. So I'm really a person who, as a legislator, I would want to go and speak to the schools. I would want to work with some of the other folks in the school districts right now. I have spoken to some who even believe in what I believe in, which is school vouchers. So I'm very, I have 4 grandkids. 2 of them go here to public schools. They happen to be doing very well because the family is involved. So it is the combination of all of that. I have one more thing to add is there is a way of getting some money, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the land, the AB 227, which was a study. This bill was passed by a nonpartisan group of legislators, so all parties, and the discussion just got shut down after the legislators, the ranchers, citizens from all groups came together, worked on a study for a year and a half, and they found out if the state would take back only 10% of our 84% of the BLM land, the federal land, we actually can have there's about $350 million that can be used to help with our taxes, to help with our schools.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. What we need to do, what I would do, I would try to reform the education system right away. That's something that we need to do immediately, because you have a broken system that is not spending the money well. Nelson, my opponent, mentioned that we need to have different programs like English as a second language, different other programs, and focus on business community and all that, and I agree. But how are we going to fund those programs, and how are we going to get more money for our school, our teachers, to make it down to the bottom where it's needed? Well, we need to have more accountability. At the administrative level, they absorb close to 45% of the budget, and it is, to me, that is unreasonable, because more money of that should flow down towards our schools, towards our teachers, and the only way we can do that is by reforming the system. We have to reform the way we give them money and the way they spend the money. I have to go attached to earmarks so that money can be spent in specific programs. Another thing is that I would like to give parents more choices, have more charter schools, homeschooling. It has been proved that the children that go through homeschooling do much better than the ones that go to the public system. So more choices, and possibly, like she says, a voucher system where the money will follow the student. That will incentivize the system to perform better, and it will also might be even cheaper for the state, because so right now, considering every money from the federal government, the state government, everything, we spend about $10,000 to $11,000 a year in our children's education. And an average private school is about one of the highest. It's more expensive. It's about $7,000 a year. So we can do better there. And again, that will incentivize the broken system to work better. Free markets is a clear solution to our problems, accompanied to more accountability, accompanied to, we have to do other things as a conjunction.
It's interesting how each and every one of you avoided the topic of the dreaded margin tax when we were talking about that.
I thought you were going to bring it
I thought that was going to be a separate question.
Well, it is now. So, Jesus, margin tax, yay or nay, and why?
I totally oppose the margin tax. The margin tax is not going to fix the problem. It's, again, just throwing more money at a broken system. And it's not even guaranteed that the money's going to go towards our children's education. Yes, it's going to the education fund, But they are going to decide, they're going to have total discretion of where and how that money is going to be spent. So that doesn't guarantee, if already 45% of the budget is being spent at the administrative level, what's going to guarantee that the money is going to be spent with our children, our teachers down at the bottom? So on top of that, 2% of any business that makes $1 million or more is on growth, not on profit. So if a small business, now they try to make it seem like this is for big or larger corporations, but this is going to affect the little small mom and pop restaurant at the corner that may be making $1 million in sales, but only 150,000 in profit. So 2% of the whole $1 million is going to transfer to 15-20% of the little profit that business is making. And yes, there are some discounts and some write-downs on that, but still, it's going to be a very high tax. There's a lot of companies that are already talking about moving out of state if that goes true. And if we're trying to diversify our economy and bring more companies like the one that we just brought in with Tesla here, we have to be more friendly to those small, especially small businesses, to start up and grow.
Vicki, margin tax.
I'm totally against it. I was a small business owner in Los Angeles for 15 years. I had a garment manufacturing company, and I know what a tax like this would do for me. I also, when I left there, I worked in corporate for a company that went on a stock exchange. It probably was still considered a small business, even though its numbers were very large. It would have totally hurt them too. And by the same token, I have been out in my district visiting businesses, taking a survey, asking them how this would affect them, and their answer, most are saying they would have to close or move. So I am against it.
Troy.
Absolutely against it. Being a small business owner and currently a key service employee for the company that I helped found, Araujo Bus Sales, we fall into that category because we do $8 to $10 million a year. Sometimes, when we're doing flooring, when we're doing stuff, it makes no sense, this margins tax, because one of the things I don't believe we have a money problem. We have a spending problem in the state, and that's what's got to get under control. The margins tax is going to be nothing but a job killer, and I've been talking to a lot of the businesses in my district too, and the same thing. It's like, we're barely making it as it is because we're still, I don't care what anybody says, we're still having a hard time with this economy right now. I know we're even struggling with our business, and we have a good contract with the RTC. It's a job killer. It's an absolute job killer. And the one thing that they do, and this is in the teachers union, this is the one thing that kills me about the teachers union. Oh, we want this margins tax so we can put all this money into education. Okay, what's your plan? What plan? That's what they said. What plan? Like, how's the money going to be spent? Where is it going to go? Is it going to go to the teachers? Is it going to go to the administration? Like as you said, they don't even have a plan for the money if they even get their hands on it. That to me is a red flag and a problem. But the bigger issue for me is that margins tax is going to be a job killer and it's going to drive business away from Nevada.
Nelson.
I have not taken a position on the TEI, but what I will tell you is that I have always said publicly that funding our education system appropriately is absolutely necessary. And I want to make sure that it is reiterated that I want to be the strongest advocate for our families and for our children. So we need to really look in to see how we can find these solutions to help these youth. I mean, I do it every day. And it breaks your heart to have to see a child who does not have the resources they need to make it through. So what I will tell you is, I'm absolutely passionate about ensuring that we are funding appropriately and that we are preparing our children for success.
And I've asked every question so far. Does anyone else want to jump in? Go ahead, Ben.
Since you're all talking education, what do you think of the Common Core system?
Let's start with Nelson and go the other way, I guess.
So that's the other. I have a few questions on Common Core. I haven't taken a position yet. I'm still asking questions, trying to get answers in more details into the issue. What I will tell you is, again, I always raise a lot of questions on both sides because I want to make sure that any position or any decision that I do make is a solid one, and it's one that I fundamentally believe in. So that's the reason why I'm not prepared to take a position with it. But again, I reiterate the importance of ensuring that all of us have that child in mind when we're taking positions on anything, regardless of where you stand politically.
Sure.
I am absolutely opposed to Common Core. It is nothing but a data mining machine. It does nothing but put the federal government in charge of everything, which is absolutely what the Constitution says the government is not supposed to do. Just even on the onset of just the math problems. Last time I checked, 32 minus 20 is 12. And it takes them a minute and a half to do all this little scribbling to get to the answer because they want to do critical thinking. Well, I think that goes against the grain. That's the whole take a breath, step back, let's get back to the basics. Common Core, along with No Child, this all started with No Child Left Behind. And No Child Left Behind does nothing except leave children behind because I've watched it. You know, you were talking about how good your kids were at school. Both my daughters graduated with high honors. Matter of fact, my youngest daughter was 12th in her class with a weighted grade point average of 4.7 because my wife and I were involved in their education. I was with them every step of the way. I spent 8 solid years in high school. I watched what these programs do to these kids. And it's appalling because they're more worried about being PC and zero tolerance than they are about teaching our kids. Some of the stuff, I'm just going to leave it at that.
I am against Common Core, and the reasons are very similar as far as I believe that children need to be brought up, not together on one line. So I really want to see the kids. I don't think this program is helping those who are lower, and the ones who are higher. It's going to bring them down instead of raise them up and let them go as high as they can go. The data mining is a problem, and I also feel that we need to keep our kids to be individuals and not lumped in as a group.
I oppose the Common Core also. I believe what they're trying to do is do a like the name says, common sense with everybody, all the kids, and that goes against the American dream. America is great because there was exceptionalities among individuals, and that made this country great by performing better and trying to find competition among each other. And it goes totally against that principle. And also the staff, they're lowering the standards, so that is something that I definitely don't agree with.
Thank you.
Okay.
I do have a thing to say.
Okay.
Because we were talking about education, and first of all, I'd like to commend you that you see the problem, you come out and raise it, and it's a torture. It's literally a lot of hard work that you guys put in it. Okay, and I commend you on that. Appreciate it. But regarding to education, if I have a solution without spending money, and in the long term, we can't fix the problem because we're so used to Band-Aids, right? Throwing money at education is going to fix it. Not likely. So, here's my proposal. Listen carefully. People love to bring their kids. They say, spend more money, bring it to Catholic school. It's a better school. Well, they're supposed to be free. It used to be free, okay? So if we have community churches come to our grade school, our kindergarten, that's where the problem began. We got to help our little kids. They are nothing but giving them iPads with Tweety Birds in there. And that's all they have nowadays. And if our community leader, which is most of the time church, the more problem area, there are more churches around. I've seen 4 churches on every corner. They were to come out, they're part of the society. They come out and have a class, teach them Bible. I don't mind my son learning Bible at all. Absolutely not. It's an elective course. Okay? Got nothing to do with the government. They got nothing to do with religion. They have that. And that would be free. And every pastor in the corner church, they are fully qualified to teach. And they can volunteer and come out and help the society. Don't just stand there and just give me donations. Come out and help the society. And that's what we are all about. We are society. Everyone my son meets you, he's influenced one way or another. So everybody is in it together, not just the parents. So far everybody blamed the parents. It's not. My son come back. My teacher said this. It's like lightning bolt from the God. And I tell them, say, buckle up for the last, can't remember till when, and they'll always forget. You see the difference, the power of the teacher. But instead, they are running around, filling out forms, worry about if all their kids get caught up. We get nowhere. Okay, there are smart kids, there are dumb kids. But if they're all giving the best education by means of that, our languages, proficient, give them the best, the most difficult, the best literatures, while they're young. Now they're going to become wise. They're going to become smart. They don't have to learn that take a minute and a half to solve a problem versus like that. Agreed?
Yeah,
so
There's no argument here.
that is my solution. But again, everybody, is all in the same together. Money ain't gonna fix it.
And you're right. It's about communities coming together.
Yeah, we can't
and
see
not
it
just
tomorrow,
depending on the government for everything. So-
PTA, they're party poopers. They just party all day long. That's about it. They get together. Oh, how are you? But their kid grow up,
I'm going to disagree with that.
they're out of there. Majority of them, their kid grow up, it's no longer my problem. But talk to every grandmothers that they're grandfather right now. Anybody that's over the age of 50, they'll tell you, say, for my kid, too late. It's too late. What about our next generation? Our sons that is in the grade school right now. And that's where the problem began.
Agree.
All right.
No argument here.
And that's much easier to solve that way.
So
Thank you
I know
very
you're
much.
trying to
Commend
jump
you
into
again.
that, but I just want to jump into your statement and first and foremost, thank you for your engagement. So my mother was my best teacher, and
Absolutely.
there's no secret about it. She had a huge language barrier to overcome, but the one thing she always knew was that when it came time to do homework, she would sit there with me and she would make sure that each one of my homework sheets and she showed me that if I worked hard and I did everything that I was instructed to do, that I could really get that degree and really, really move up. And she showed me that that would be my ticket out. And so far, what I will tell you is that obtaining my education was the best reward that I could ever do for both of us. For her and for myself, because I was able to make her proud that day, and at the same time I was able to help back the community that gave
That's
me
why
so
you're
much.
out here running.